SSS.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Liberdade checks in at 68 degrees and sunny. Wind check south-southwest at 6 miles an hour. From that dossier to this one, spying device detectors may give domestic abuse victims. Our first read tonight, consumer tech meant to protect might actually leave domestic abuse survivors more vulnerable.
A recent University of London study reveals inexpensive RF detectors, priced under $100, failed to detect 70% of common GPS trackers and hidden cameras. These devices, often marketed directly to vulnerable individuals, primarily detect Wi-Fi or Bluetooth signals, making them ineffective against sophisticated low-power devices that operate on cellular networks or store data locally for later retrieval. This leaves domestic abuse victims, who often purchase these readily available tools for a perceived quick fix, with a dangerously false sense of security, potentially escalating their risk of ongoing surveillance and control.
Who is affected? Primarily domestic abuse survivors seeking safety, but also extends to anyone concerned about privacy in a world saturated with easily hidden surveillance tech. The market for these security devices also profits, often without delivering on their implied promise. Alternative. One viable alternative involves advocacy groups like the National Network to End Domestic Violence, NNEDV, collaborating with tech experts to develop a certified open-source digital safety audit protocol, offering a more robust, expert-led assessment for survivors that includes specialized hardware and software analysis.
This situation echoes ancient trickster narratives where the allure of a quick fix leads to deeper peril, a false idol promising protection. The digital footprint becomes a new form of tracking, turning the very notion of a safe home into a mirage. It's a fundamental erosion of personal provenance, a violation of one's digital self, demanding sharp discernment to reclaim a secure sanctuary and build an inner architecture of unwavering autonomy against insidious intrusion.
From a technical perspective, it's a classic case of market exploitation. These cheap detectors are designed to hit a price point, not to solve the actual problem. They prey on a very real fear with a technically inferior solution. It's like bringing a spoon to a knife fight.
Patching in a caller, the contrarian. You're on the signal.
Yeah, good evening. So these gadgets are worse than useless. What's the concrete cost of this false sense of security to a victim? And who profits when these devices fail?
The cost is profoundly real, caller. It's measured in shattered trust, heightened risk of further abuse, and a psychological burden that compounds trauma. The profit, as Kaylin hinted, goes to manufacturers selling inadequate tools, and indirectly to abusers who find their methods unchallenged. The chosen next move here is to amplify critical digital literacy for survivors, directing them towards specialized support organizations offering genuine security assessments, often pro bono, rather than relying on unverified consumer products. This moves us from a false shield to building true, resilient inner architectures of safety, asserting the victim's autonomy through informed action. Lex, what's building next? Same dossier, new angle, keep the thread tight.
Despite President Trump's repeated attacks on renewable energy, including his windmills cause cancer claim, unions like the Laborers International Union of North America, LIUNA, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW, and the United Steelworkers, USW, have collectively invested over $50 million in training programs for solar panel installation, wind turbine construction, and grid modernization. This direct action by unions supports thousands of blue-collar workers transitioning from fossil fuel industries, demonstrating a tangible commitment to creating sustainable, high-wage jobs even amidst political opposition and a shifting energy landscape.
Who is affected? Thousands of union members and blue-collar workers, particularly in states undergoing energy transitions, communities seeking stable, future-proof employment, and the broader national effort to address climate change and economic inequality. Alternative. A concrete alternative involves state governments establishing green job transition funds, directly financed by carbon taxes or revenue from renewable energy projects, to offer comprehensive retraining, apprenticeship programs, and guaranteed placement services for workers from existing fossil fuel industries, ensuring a just transition.
This is a powerful cultural echo of the American industrial spirit now being transmuted. From the original steelworkers to the new solar technicians, the lineage of labor is demonstrating its unwavering autonomy, adapting to build a new, dignified legacy. It's about ensuring the provenance of good, strong jobs in a changing energy landscape, integrating both the logic of economic necessity and the emotion of pride in skilled labor to build resilient civic architectures.
Patching in a caller. Go ahead.
My question is, are these green jobs truly good jobs or just temporary lower-wage gigs compared to traditional union work? What's the proof of long-term stability and dignity in this transition?
That's a crucial point, Carla, and central to the dignity of labor. The chosen next move for these unions is precisely to ensure long-term stability and comparable compensation. The IBEW, for example, is negotiating robust collective bargaining agreements for renewable energy projects that include prevailing wage clauses, comprehensive benefits packages, and structured apprenticeship pathways that directly match traditional industrial job standards. This is about building a new, resilient bedrock for American labor, ensuring consent and dignity in the transition, not just temporary work. Anansi, what's our next thread? Finally tonight, a political figure opts out of a private event, responding to a plea for discretion.
Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham chose not to attend a wedding at number 10 Downing Street, specifically at the adjoining Heron House, after a direct and public request from the bride, Sarah Berwin, a former aide. This decision, widely reported by the BBC and The Guardian, highlights the intense scrutiny political figures face and the bride's clear desire to maintain the personal sanctity of her event, free from political optics, potential media distractions, or the perception of leveraging a private moment for public gain.
Who is affected? The bride and groom, whose private event could have been overshadowed, Mayor Burnham, whose public image is shaped by such decisions, and the broader public discourse on the boundaries between private lives and public office for political figures. Alternative, Burnham could have chosen to attend in a strictly private capacity, arriving discreetly without media attention, thereby demonstrating personal support while consciously minimizing any political footprint, perhaps by declining any official capacity.
This reflects an ancient, almost mythic desire to protect sacred moments from the intrusion of the public realm. A wedding, a profound personal architecture, seeks to exist in its own pure space, defined by intimate bonds. The bride's plea is a powerful act of asserting autonomy, a demand for consent on who enters her circle and how, preserving the dignity and provenance of her event against the potential toxicity of political theater. It's an act of sharp discernment to protect a personal narrative.
It's a rare moment of a politician actually listening to a private citizen's very reasonable request for a little peace. More often, they'd elbow their way in for the photo op. This shows a flicker of understanding about what truly matters to people.
There's a caller on the line.
So he just backs down? Is this truly respect for the bride, or just a politician avoiding negative press? What's the real signal here? Genuine deference or calculated political maneuvering?
Caller, the signal is sharp discernment in action, both from the bride and the mayor. While political calculus is always present, the directness of the bride's plea and Burnham's response models an assertion of boundaries. The chosen next move, in this instance, was an act of respecting a clear boundary and the bride's autonomy and dignity. It demonstrates a form of civic dignity by prioritizing personal wishes and the sanctity of a private event over political visibility. It's about understanding when to step back and when to lean in, building architectures that honor individual consent and protect against the erosion of personal space by the public sphere. A faint, rhythmic thumping from the ventilation shaft adds a low baseline to the broadcast.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Continue the signal at TogeeVision.com Tune in, Sparks and Stories, Gig Passport.